I want to give you the 5 things to consider when choosing the marathon that's right for you. So you might be thinking, why a marathon? What's the point? You know, I'm sure some of you are thinking, what kind of crazy people run 26.2 miles? I was one of you. I would watch some marathoners and just think to myself, why are they doing this? But you know, I've said it before, life's all about passion. You've got to constantly be setting goals. You've got to constantly be challenging yourself. I wanted to be challenged mentally. I wanted to be challenged physically. And it jumped into my mind that it was time to run a marathon. For me, a half miler, to run a full marathon, 26.2 miles, literally twice as far as I've ever run in my life before, it's daunting. I'm not getting paid to run a marathon. I'm doing it because I genuinely want to see if I can do it. And I want to see if I can break 3 hours. So we're here at South Eugene High School, and I've done a lot of laps of this track. In fact, I ran professionally as a track and field athlete for 12 years. I ran competitively on the track for 20 years. To say that this track was my home is pretty accurate. I literally logged thousands and thousands of hours on tracks just like this. And recently I retired from professional track and field. I was honored to have a career for 2 decades, but I needed a new challenge. Well, I trained to run the 800 meters. That's 2 laps around the track. A marathon is 26.2 miles. It's literally 52 times farther than I typically race. You know, to put it in perspective, the longest run I ever did was 13 miles. And I thought I was gonna die after that. So the thought of trying to run twice that distance, it doesn't seem fathomable. So now you know a little bit more about me and about my next goal. But let me tell you how I arrived there. I want to give you the 5 things to consider when choosing the marathon that's right for you. So the first thing to consider when choosing a marathon is location. Now I chose Honolulu for obvious reasons. It's beautiful, and I like the idea of ending up in the Pacific Ocean after I've run 26.2 miles. It takes a lot of time to train for a marathon, and I knew I was going to need months. So I chose December 10th, the Honolulu Marathon. That gives me 5 months to prepare. That's about right. You're going to want at least 3 to 6 months to train for your marathon. Some marathons are very flat. They're at sea level. Some are very hilly. There's a marathon in the Himalayas that takes place at 15,000 feet. Choose the marathon that's right for you. When you're running a marathon, you are going to be out in nature, in the elements for hours at a time. Even the best marathoners are out there for 2+ hours. So you want to consider the weather. Do you not do well in heat? Make sure you choose some place that's planning on being cold. Do you not do well in the cold? Plan for some warmth. I don't run well in the cold. I want to be out there where it's nice and warm, so I chose Honolulu. And this might be the most important thing for some of you. There are major marathons with tens of thousands of people running them. There's something about standing on a starting line knowing there's 30 or 40 or 50,000 people around you that lifts you up. But prestige isn't just about size. I mean, obviously Boston, New York, Chicago, they have prestige. But think about it. At 5 or 6 in the morning when you're lining up, who do you want to be surrounded by? Maybe you want to be surrounded by the people that you grew up around and you want to run your hometown marathon. Maybe it is just about being surrounded by as many human beings as you can. But I guarantee you, after running 26.2 miles, when you reach that finish line and you're giving out high fives and hugs, prestige is about who you want to be around. So those are the top 5 things to consider when choosing a marathon that's right for you. Location, date, topography, weather, and prestige. Now you know what I've chosen. I've chosen the Honolulu Marathon, and it takes place on December 10th. That's exactly 5 months from today. You're off to a good start if you've chosen yours, but there's still a lot to consider when getting ready for a marathon. So make sure you press the subscribe button. We've got 5 more episodes on how to be a marathoner. I gotta get started. Training starts today.